need to. brings us to a superstar right now who's having an incredible time, and that is Jay Uso. Yeah, this has been a really incredible thing to watch. Why is this the right moment for Jay Uso to be in this spot? Because people made it happen. He has a charisma and a likability that he lets people in and they want to see him succeed. So when you walk into a building with 10,000, 30,000, or 60,000, and he walked out in that whole place doing his entrance with him, just hanging on everything he does, and hanging on his words, and hanging on his moments. Right? That's what it takes to be a top guy, to help box office. And when he's in that crowd doing his entrance, you can see he's not going through motions. He is in it with them. He's in it with that kid that's standing next to him, that's doing that with him. He's living for that moment, right? Like when Loser Draw at Wrestlemania, that's his moment. That connection with that crowd will be his moment. He just has it. He's on his own, able to show it. And at WrestleMania, we'll see if he can put his money where his mouth is. So let's talk about WrestleMania a little bit more. Specifically, the main event, the triple threat, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. What excites you most about this match, and what is sort of one of the things that makes a triple threat particularly exciting when done well? So, normally when there's nothing on the line, triple threats to me are a bit on. This one was a gamble, and was a very calculated gamble on the fact that you have three talent at the top of their game, or you were peak of their careers, that all have an interaction that is undeniable when you dig into it. What's interesting about this triple threat
Que sin importar el medio del que hablemos, ya sea películas, libros, videojuegos,
Seth tripping on Roman to begin his singles journey over time with those two. The history is 10, 15 years old. You add Punk into that equation now. Here's a guy that they were sort of brought in to be with. That goes awry. He leaves. A lot of people feel abandoned. A lot of people feel like that were close to him feel like he walked away from them. Then you have guys like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns that great impact rebuilding this. In their mind, we carried on without you when you took your foot on this and left and all these things. And there's a lot of animosity there. There's a lot of storyline here. There's a lot of shit here of these three guys. They've got a 10 to 15 year history. Sometimes when you get to WrestleMania, people think, okay, but that should be the definitive end. So if you're telling me that story, I want to see this definitive end. Well, maybe we're just giving you the definitive beginning. And this will come across, and people will criticize shit out of it. One thing that Kowalski said at the very beginning is, you tell them where it goes, they don't tell you where it goes, right? You listen to them, you adjust accordingly. You try to think where they will go emotionally, but at the end of the day, we work them.
tomorrow on WrestleMania Countdown, our conversation continues.
If you could choose, do you wish that we still lived in more of a behind the curtain world?
I love the fact that we can go show all the things that go into it that you don't see any of it. It's just as fascinating as the product itself. So I love the
cares as much about the people helping him build this legacy as he does the wrestling business itself.
You know, Jackie, I like to be up here because Jimmy has never said anything that nice to me in many years before. Stop. Seriously, for you and someone who's worked with Triple H for many, many years, he's been so much in your career. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I haven't had much interaction with Triple H wrestling, but Paul Levesque, the executive, was running NXT at a time where I was still very green, trying to get my feet wet, and the course of my career really changed because of his direction and bestowing upon me the 5 count famously, something that King Kong Bundy did. And, you know, that was something that I had to borrow in NXT, and my career really got to take off because of that. I was kind of floundering. So getting to work with Triple H, getting to work with Paul on a regular basis in NXT, trying to figure out how to build a character, how to connect with the crowd, was really instrumental. So I'm so thankful for that time, for Paul's direction, and, you know, getting to go from the guy who did the 5 count to the main roster with Dolph and AJ was really great for my career. But none of that would be possible if it wasn't for Paul. Yeah, we're also blessed that he gave you the opportunity to do this because you are absolutely. Thank you very much. That's what you do. You know, but Triple H, we talked so much about last night when he spent this business. I just want to remind everyone, we're all here today because of what he's built over the past couple of years, and we are in the Triple H era. Again, ladies and gentlemen, matter of moments, Triple H will be here. A massive announcement coming here on the Countdown Show. Later on, you will see Tiffany Stratton defending the championship, the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Wade Barrett had the opportunity. Sit down, please.
Charlotte, thank you for taking time out and joining me. This is your 8th WrestleMania 41. It's also your 8th Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. How does it feel to be in sunny Las Vegas?
I take WrestleMania very serious. It's the biggest show of the year. I feel like it's my domain. Every match has meant something to me, and you can ask me Sunday where this match will fall in my list of favorite WrestleMania moments.
Well, you seem like you're in a good place right now. But let's go back in time. December the 8th, 2023. Tribute to the troops, Charlotte versus Asuka. You suffered what turned out to be a catastrophic knee injury in the match. Now, tell us about how the injury happened and your reaction once you realized the severity of the injury.
So I was already feeling a certain type of way about the match. Asuka and I have had a million matches from WrestleMania to random SmackDown, Raws, pay-per-views. And I was like, all right, let's, really kill it if we're here for tribute to the troops. And within the first 4 minutes, I was like, man, something don't feel right with my leg. I think the overall thing was like, I don't know how to be injured. I didn't know if being injured was like, or just stopping in the middle of the match. So I got through it, and I could just feel like a wave of panic come over me, like,
Well, your body stopped cooperating with you because of the severity of this injury. I don't know if people really realize how catastrophic this one was. Torn ACL, torn MCL, torn meniscus. Tell us about the physical and emotional process that you had to go through on your rehab journey.
when you hear wrestlers being out for injuries for 6 to 8 months to a year, I'm like, oh, this doesn't happen to me. This isn't going to happen to me. And then I have the x-rays on Monday, and they're like, you have ACL, MCL sprain, you need to shake down your meniscus. So then I have my surgery in January, and then I think it was more the personal pressures of being a woman and knowing that my marriage was failing, that WWE was growing as a whole, and I just couldn't keep up, and I was injured again and out, and just like nothing was working. Like my marriage is falling apart. I don't have children. I was just really disappointed.
So 14 months of personal and professional hell, and then the Royal Rumble in
Yes.
2025, you walked through the curtain. That must have been a huge weight off your shoulders. Tell us about that moment that you stepped back out in front of the world.
I was really nervous. When I come through that curtain, there cannot be an ounce of doubt. Like, I know I am the queen. I know what I bring to the table, but how do you get there mentally? And then I walked out, did my spin, did my thing, and I was like, yep, I'm back.
You win the Royal Rumble, you're the first woman in history to do that twice, and then you had a decision to make.
Yes.
You had to choose which champion you wanted to face at WrestleMania 41. You chose Tiffany Stratton. Tell us why.
I think Tiffany, in the moment, probably inspired me the most. Like, all right, let's see what you got, kid.
Well, things between you and Tiffany have certainly got personal of late. There have been numerous verbal attacks, physical attacks.
Hey.
Yeah, you in fact have even been sent home from an arena by management,
Not the first
which you
time.
then returned and attacked Tiffany once again. Tell us why things have got so ugly between the two of you.
I have a chip on my shoulder, and if I really look deep into Tiffany, I think she's got a chip on her shoulder. But now people are really invested in this WrestleMania match, and if there's anything that matters most to me, it's that people tune in to see Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. They're going to tune in to see Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton on the biggest stage. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but win or lose, Charlotte Flair doesn't give up. Man, I have faced the best. I've beaten the best. I've lost to the best. So where Tiffany Stratton falls, I don't know. But I can always promise my fans and my haters that I am going to put on the best possible show because that's what Charlotte Flair does.
When you have people as good as Cody, as Cena, how does it ever get any better?
When you're Tiffany Stratton, perfection comes easy. I'm in the center of the universe. Everything goes my way.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am flanked by some of the top business leaders in the world. I am flanked by some of the top luchadors in the world for a major announcement here this afternoon. WWE is announcing the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion AAA. The acquisition is in partnership with Mexico-based sports and entertainment holding company, Vivo. Joining me here tonight, Dorian Roldan Pena, AAA's general manager, Alberto Pacheco, the police chairman, Maricela Pena-Herrada, the AAA president, and of course the WWE's chief content officer, Paul Promete. And most of the men and women behind me need no introduction. I want to start with you, Dorian. What does this acquisition by WWE mean, considering you've created some of the top talent in the world over the last 30 years?
It's something really important for us, and basically, it's the beginning of a new chapter in the story of Lucha Libre. For over the last 3 decades, my uncle Antonio Peña, who was the founder of the company, my father, Joaquin Roldan, that he passed away in 2017, and right now with the vision of my mother, Maricela Peña, we have been running a Lucha Libre company for almost 33 years. And to be finally here, with all our talent, with all the luchadores, we feel really, really proud.
Alberto, from a business standpoint, what does AAA partnering with WWE mean?
Well, the opportunity was there to take it. It's been years in the making. Being able to partner with TKO and WWE is something that I've been for a long, long time. And having the support of the Roldan family behind it, this is going to be an amazing thing for the years to come.
I'm excited because some of the top professional wrestlers on the planet will finally get to be seen globally. Now, Paul, you and I had this discussion, God, I bet it was a decade ago now, and you had this vision of bringing all these groups under this umbrella, and I'm like, are you sure you're actually going to do this? This is incredible. So for the WWE fans that are here, when is the first time we're actually going to be able to experience this?
Well, let me get to that in a second, but before we get into that, I wanted to thank Marcelo. Thank you very much. Dorian, Alberto, what you have created is spectacular. We had nothing but respect for what you have created. We have nothing but respect for Lucha Libre. As you know, some of the greatest athletes in the world have come out of AAA and have come to WWE, have been seen all around the world. The impact of Lucha Libre, the cultural impact that it has had, it resonates through generations. It cannot be overstated. It is incredible. We look to further that tradition. We look to further that to make all of these luchadors and everybody out here that loves that style, to make them proud of what it can be. WWE will take that to another level. WWE, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but today there was an article in the LA Times that talked about the power and the popularity of Lucha Libre, especially in the Los Angeles area. So with that in mind, 30 years ago, I sat in my little apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, with Brian Pillman and a host of others, William Regal, as we watched the first Worlds Collide take place. So it is my honor to announce here 30 years later that live from the Forum in LA on June 7th, Worlds Collide will take place again. If you don't think that is exciting, you have to look no further than what is sitting at this desk here, standing at this desk here today. You're the greatest luchador, the most famous luchador of all time, my friend Rey Mysterio.
unbelievable Ray Phoenix. The LWO, Raul Joaquin. The one and only Penta. The future Danny Lee. Santos Escobar. And when you talk about history, the Garza family. One of the most spectacular luchadors of all time, Andrade. The current NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Garrett. And now, when you combine that with current Triple A talent like the one, the only, the incredible Latino. As Rey Mysterio said in the package a little bit ago, this show is going to be incredible because starting now, the future flies here. Again, WWE announcing today the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion, AAA. I want to thank everyone here today, and of course all my friends who have been with me for the ride. Congratulations, everybody. This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I cannot wait. Well, AAA has talked about how we sat in our room with Brian Pillman 30 years ago. I want to show you what he's talking about. This is 1994. WCW and AAA Worlds Collide, and it featured, well, a number of luchadors. It was a sports arena in Los Angeles. It was the first time a non-U.S. based promotion was shown live on United States pay-per-view television. The highlight is six-man tag team match featuring Guerrero, Madonna's boyfriend and psychosis against Heavy Metal, the Left Mother, and Rey Mysterio, the man at Paraguay, being punted inside a steel cage. Standing by with the greatest luchador, in my opinion, of all time, is Jackie Redmond.
In most people's opinion, Michael, go give it up for Rey Mysterio, hey! A well-deserved ovation for one Rey Mysterio. I can't imagine an announcement of this magnitude without your presence, Rey. So thank you for being here, especially considering what we saw go down on Friday Night SmackDown. Let me just start with this. How are you feeling?
I wish I could say that I'm feeling great. I am spiritually, physically, and it was unfortunate that I suffered an accident yesterday. Due to the hands of Julius, American made it's unfortunate that I'm not medically cleared to compete tonight.
So you are not going to participate in your match here tonight at WrestleMania?
As of right now, I don't have the clearance to be able to compete, but there is a replacement, and that is a good thing because Lucha is still going to be put on the map tonight. And that replacement is Rey Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, congratulations, Rey Phoenix. Will sub in for Rey Mysterio. Congratulations. This is a huge moment for you. And, Rey, I do want to get your thoughts on this announcement as well. If you could go back to 14-year-old Rey Mysterio and tell him that this moment, this announcement about the acquisition of AAA would happen, what would 14-year-old Rey say?
I was listening to the announcement, and I actually got choked up because if you think about a 14-year-old Rey Mysterio, a skinny little kid,
So that's where Dom gets it.
yeah, probably, yeah. that had had so many obstacles ahead of him. Nobody believed that I was a wrestler. I had to push my way through. But eventually, when I started to make my way, at the age of 17, there's one person that believed in me, Conan, who introduced me to the founder of AAA, Antonio Peña, and my first opportunity on national television was on AAA in 1992. So if you think about that, it goes full circle. Now, WWE and AAA are one. If you would have told me that in 92, I would have said, you're even thinking that Ray would be part of WWE. So this is such a beautiful time in Lucha Libre and wrestling for all of you, the fans, that make this possible. So I'm just so I can't even stop there. My first pay-per-view, as we say, was in 1994 at Worlds Collide. So to be able to be part of that once again in 2025 is just
Our Worlds Collide is back. Rey Mysterio, thank you for the time. It's so unfortunate that we're not going to see you in action here tonight at Wrestlemania, but congratulations to you, sir. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you again. All right, Cole, back to you. Breaking news. A lot of news here in this segment.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Three major things happening here. We need to recap. WWE announced the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion, AAA, the first experience for WWE fans. Goes back to where it all began, Los Angeles. Saturday, the 7th of June at the Kia Forum. More on that as we go through the next few weeks. And of course, the third piece of news, Rey Mysterio will not participate in his 13th WrestleMania tonight, injured in a match on SmackDown last night, when he will be replaced by a man making his WrestleMania debut, and I'm sure it's going to light up the sky in Las Vegas, none other than the amazing Rey Fenix. Well, I'm going to head back into the Legion Stadium to get ready for the massive WrestleMania Saturday. Jackie and the crew will be back out here in a moment. Thank you guys. See you in a bit.
thank you.
Maybe. Pretty much. Talking about that, only take away the music. Strip away the fans. Lose the chant. What's left? Who even is it? Well, it's just me, Luce. Maybe that's enough.
One word. Help. Every week, a story to be held. With Wrestlemania being the most horrible display of violence this business has ever seen.
the WrestleMania set, but for the first time ever, fans can actually sit here on the WrestleMania set. From the very first entrance, you feel like you're part of the action. The views, absolutely insane. The energy will be electric, and the bragging rights, I mean, come on. We've already got some chants here in the stadium. It's looking good. Everyone is filling in. I mean, I can't wait for WrestleMania. The people who are sitting here, probably some of the best seats in the house. So let's send it back out to the panel.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you so much. I have the best seats I've ever had at a wrestling event. The fans are excited, as they should be.
It should be.
Jackie Redmond for tagging for Michael Cole, joining you, replace her.
I'm blessed.
Did you pick this better half?
Shout out to Troy, stylist extraordinaire.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the style stuff for your house.
Yeah,
They better? Oh,
Come on now.
okay. I see you. Well, listen, welcome
Thank you.
to the set, to the panel.
Well, listen, I had to hold back for a minute with that gigantic AAA announcement. Incredible stuff. And you and I spoke about this earlier, Jackie. I mean, this main event tonight, this triple threat match that we're going to get tonight, I cannot stop thinking about it. It's one of those things. Two of these guys are going to lose tonight.
I know.
And I just can't sort of wrap my head around who it could be.
I know, and look, I'm also so bummed about the news with Ray, but we got a really cool Ray to replace the other Ray. I'm really excited for Ray Phoenix. He is such an incredible performer, a man I've been a fan of for many years now. So we got a lot of moving parts here tonight. But it's going to be perfect.
WrestleMania, because of chaos.
Exactly.
And the moving parts, am I right? You're right. The main event tonight, there's so many layers. And it just has this sense, this vibe to it that you know there's just going to be some stuff.
What is that? Is that sense of stuff? A man from New York named Paul Heyman? Is that the sense of stuff?
The sense is I don't trust the man, okay? I don't know how anyone could. I mean, I see why Roman and Punk have both had great long relationships with Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman is always funny to something.
Always.
Well, he said to us last night in the Hall of Fame red carpet when you asked about it, he said, I will always be loyal to my tribal chief. Full stop. I will always be loyal to my best friend, CM Punk. Something's got to give.
But he said he would never be disloyal to either. That was how he finished the statement.
Right, which makes me wonder, is there some possible alignment with Seth Rollins as well? Like, is that him? Does he jump for Seth?
Seth did not punch. Seth had the opportunity to punch Paul Heyman in the head,
Right.
and he did not.
And here's the thing. We've talked about this at night. Seth Rollins himself told me he feels that both Roman and Punk were so hyper-fixated on this favor, on the Paul Heyman of it all, that they completely overlooked Seth Rollins, who has proven himself to be, I would say, a planner. As a WWE superstar, he plans for things.
Well, so
He adapts to the changing environment, does he not?
So when he made that decision to not stop Paul Heyman, that's not a happenstance.
I kind of think maybe Seth Rollins is up to something.
Look, he was called the architect in the Shield for a reason. He is someone who he might not always be the loudest, but he's thinking, he's plotting, he's putting things together behind the scenes.
He's smart, right? He is one who has, in the past, seen the writing on the wall in terms of how, power dynamics shift within WWE, who's in power, who's making decisions, and whether or not maybe he thinks some of the money is in power. I don't know. This is all just pure speculation.
That's all we can
But
do.
that's when you know you have a great main event.
Exactly.
Is when you can speculate until the cows come home. But we also have a great match kicking off the night.
Oh.
Jey Uso, it's like David versus Goliath. Jey Uso taking on the ring general Booker, a man he has never defeated yet chooses to face him after winning the Royal Rumble. I mean, it sounds like Jey Uso wants a challenge, and he will get one in the form of Booker.
Chess is a gentleman's game, where inside these four corners, every move matters. Much like the sacred mat, where I've been crowned, and now I rule over the WWE kingdom as the fiercest and most ruthless WWE World Heavyweight Champion of all time. My strategic ability is unmatched, while my attack is brutal. constantly calculating every advancement and using my mental acuity to outsmart my opponents over and over again. Now to you, Jey Uso, a man who feeds of these pathetic boys. These desperate peasants who cling on to slim odds and fleeting probabilities. My technique doesn't rely on blind hope. I'm an elite intellectual, far superior to an individual whose entire vocabulary exists of one syllable. Yeet. Instead, I thrive on leading my opponent into a false sense of where ultimately you will collapse in judgment. And then, in that split second, Shach Mat.
The ring general Gunther says to defend his World Heavyweight Championship tonight against the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso. And we have a clear fan favorite, I think, here in Las Vegas. The people are rooting for Jey Uso. But I'm not sure we have discussed enough just how dominant Gunther has been since stepping foot on the main roster in WWE. I mentioned this stat earlier in the show. 51-3 in one-on-one competition. You've seen a lot of superstars have success in this business. That is a star unlike most.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. His record is truly incredible. Dominant. You don't see people with win percentages that high. I don't think John Cena even had win percentages, anything even close to that when he was champion for seemingly a decade. Gunther is truly incredible. You know, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of the online setup the last few months is, Gunther's reign hasn't been, it's been just, oh, okay. But getting to see him in the ring with someone like Axiom was truly a treat. When you get to see Gunther in the ring, one-on-one against some of the best guys in the world, you are reminded truly how special this human being is.
Yep.
Let's not take him for granted. Getting to see him in NXT when he was brought in the UK, man, banger after banger, the match still here were truly incredible. He brings a physicality to the ring that is so rare. Old school, yes, banger after banger, as people would say. Gunther, we haven't seen anything like him. I'm not sure we will after. He's a throwback that still works in this era. I feel like he would have fit in with the Bruno Sammartinos of the world. He would have fit in any era. When you're that good at what you do, this man is special. Let's not take it for granted.
No, I totally agree. Because, like, no matter how much we may be interested in love with the Jey Uso story, Gunther's been amazing, right? And it's about his business. To me, he's in a very tough spot. I know that he's beaten Jey Uso many times before. You know how in the NFL, when you've lost to a team in your division twice, no one wants to see that team for a third time in their playoffs? Because at a certain point, it just gets hard to beat someone who keeps coming over and over and over again. And also, everyone always expects Gunther to win, which I think is a really tough spot to be in night after night.
Listen, there's pressure at the top, right? There's pressure when you are the one that's expected to dominate over and over and over again. Gunther has lived up to those expectations for the most part thus far in his career, but heavy is the head that wears the crown.
That's it. I don't think he feels it, though. You look at his demeanor, look at the way he carries himself. I see him backstage, but he was like that from the very first day he got here. I think he was ready for the spot. He was ready for the role. I don't see nerves when I look at Gunther. But when just the way he carries himself, he's ready for this moment. And I think that he sees himself as someone who should be in the ring with the CM Punks, with the Roman Reigns, with the John Cenas. He is not fazed by the pressure whatsoever.
So if Gunther, though, were to lose tonight, after what you just said, and I think he has said on numerous occasions, he expected a better match for WrestleMania, right? Against a more worthy, well-decorated opponent. So if he goes into a match that he doesn't consider the competition to be more on his level, and he loses, what would something like that do to Gunther?
Well, I would exactly what a loss does to a period. I mean, in some ways, I could argue it would be fascinating should that happen. You know, losing the IC title is one thing. losing in this moment to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, I don't know. We will see. Sometimes you learn the mettle of someone when they lose in a big spot. We'll find out if that happens tonight.
I don't think it's something he's even considering. I don't think it's something that's even crossed his mind. He's someone that believes he belongs here. And the evidence, when we look at his track record, when we look at what he's done at WrestleMania, the evidence proves that he does indeed belong at the very top of the card here at WWE.
We know what the Real General Luger is capable of. We've seen it on display time and time again. For main event Jey Uso, we've said it over and over, he's never defeated Gunther. The thing about Jey is, if you've paid attention and you've watched the details with Jey over the last 7 to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, ever since he watched his brother take a beat down from Gunther, Jey Uso has a different tone, a different energy. You've seen a very serious Jey Uso, and that was extremely evident when I sat down with him one-on-one ahead of his match Sunday. Uso, we are just a few days away from Mania. How are we feeling? Huge match.
Rough couple of weeks, Jackie O, for sure.
I assume this is because of what you witnessed happen to your brother Jimmy, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, you see something like that, you know, happen right in front of you and to the one person you love a lot, might do something to you.
What did it do to you? I mean, how has it shifted how you feel as you get ready for this match against Gunther?
Sat me down, Jackie. It made me focus. Started feeling myself a little too much out there. I feel like, wait, I needed nothing to show me what he was really about. A lot has happened. I'm starting to listen to the noise a little bit. I hear him out there, you know, internet talk. It's all good. Like, Gunther silence all that. The embarrassment on national TV. Got phone calls, moms, pops, his kids worried. You know, my kids worried. Everybody, I got my whole family worrying. You know what I'm saying? I can't have that. It makes me feel different.
And you're coming off different. You had this potentially career-defining match at WrestleMania, but there's no colors. I haven't heard a yeet out of you yet. This might be the most serious I think I've ever seen you.
I just got to go back to what got me to the show, and that used to be just whooping ass.
Okay.
Like, I mean, running through from the bottom to the top, man. Just every single night, just running through in the ring.
You've mentioned going back to the things that led you to this point to begin with. So can we talk about your journey? You go from being one half of one of the best tag teams in WWE history to now carving out your own legacy as an individual, as Jey Uso, as a singular WWE superstar. And I think a lot of people look at you and your career and they, in this moment, sort of define it with one word, right? Yeet. That sort of changed your life. But I look at your career and I think that the turning point for you actually boils down to 4 words. Deuces, oozes, I'm out. You make that decision almost 2 years ago to leave the bloodline, eventually take your talents to Monday Night Raw, and it's that decision that in hindsight we know opens up all of these opportunities, right? The journey begins, so to speak, at the Royal Rumble. You're in there with John Cena. You see his feet hit the floor. What is going through the mind of Jey Uso knowing you're headed to WrestleMania and you get to pick your path?
I would have never thought I'd be the last two with John Cena, let alone eliminated that. You know what I'm saying? But when his feet touch,
It's legendary. It is. Deep.
when his feet touch,
Eating very much in this
well, I get on that one. I know I was the last pick to win this Royal Rumble, and I shocked the world on that. I'm the last pick right now to beat Gunther. And at WrestleMania at 41, I'm gonna shock the world twice, Jackie. I'm calling it.
You are over against Gunther. So why choose Gunther when you haven't been able to have success against him with a championship on the line? What if you get in the ring with the man you handpicked for your title
come up short again?
If I lose to go there at WrestleMania, like that's it. All this work that I did to get here, it's gone. People would die because people want to die.
All right. Well, I think that is our time. So a very business-like approach from Jey Uso as we get set for WrestleMania. I appreciate the time. Thank you. Best of luck, okay? Finally got one.
Only one E, two E's from Jey Uso in that entire interview. Very unlike Jey Uso. And, we talked a lot about his journey to this point, right? And I want to ask you specifically this question. Because we look at everything in hindsight. Jey's one of the biggest stars in the company. His entrance gets the biggest pop week in, week out. But the decision he made a couple of years ago now to say, deuces, I'm out, I'm going on my own because I believe I can be a solo superstar. How hard is that decision for someone who's had tag team success? Because you said before, when you're successful in the tag team division, you sort of get pigeonholed there.
Yeah, look, it's not easy. I was thinking this morning about Jey and his rise, and I go back to the WrestleMania that we had at the Promete Center during COVID. We were supposed to have a tag match. It was a ladder match. It was supposed to be the New Day, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison. Jimmy Uso tears his ACL in that match, and Jey is kind of thrust into this role of, hey, you got to do something. We got to find something for you. And then he goes on to have that incredible Hell in a Cell match with Roman Reigns, and people are saying Jey is a guy we need to see elevate in the main event. Then he goes on to have this incredible run in the Bloodline. So this came out of nowhere in many ways. I'm not sure if this is something that Jey really planned. I think in many ways you get comfortable being in a tag team for so long, where he's an incredible arguably the greatest tag team of all time here in WWE. And now you're being thrust in a position where, hey, your brother is out. We need you to do something. What can you do on your own? And he proved it. And look, he has in many ways brought him to this dance. It has brought him to being main event Jey Uso. But I think what a lot of fans really connected with was that really Jey Uso we saw in the Hell in a Cell match with Roman Reigns, that we saw in the Bloodline. And I think as much as we still want to see him out entertaining, we still want to see him use the catchphrase that brought him to this spot. We want to see the Jey Uso that is going to give you his very all, that is going to bleed, he is going to sweat, he is going to cry, because winning that title means more than anything. That's the version of Jey Uso we want to see here tonight at WrestleMania.
And I think that's what we're going to get, because he acknowledged in that interview, and with us on the red carpet last night here, he hears the noise.
Well,
He hears people saying he has no chance, that he only has 5 moves.
well, that's what I was going to say, is that he seems like he's clearly aware that people are like sleeping on him. Yes, we know he's charismatic. Yes, we love his story. Yes, we love his catchphrase. But he hears you, internet smart fans. He hears you, I only have 5 moves. And he's here to show you that this guy is physically impressive in the ring as well. I completely agree, Jackie. That's on his mind. But he can't focus on that. Because the task at hand has to be beating a monster in front of him.
We talk about the pressure of the expectation of winning. What about the power that comes with being underestimated? If you can use that to fool yourself and motivate yourself to become stronger, man, I don't know. Being underestimated can be a superpower in a lot of ways. We'll see if Jey Uso can turn that into a superpower. Here tonight, we're getting closer and closer to Jey Uso's opportunity against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. All right, ahead of WrestleMania 41, WWE made an impact around the city of Las Vegas. Together with the Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority, our superstars supported Make-A-Wish Kids, the Boys and Girls Club of America, and many other local nonprofits throughout the week.
Ahead of WrestleMania weekend, WWE superstars spent time in the Las Vegas community, unveiling the newly renovated club space at the John D. Jackie Gone Boys and Girls Club. Hosting Make-A-Wish Kids for a special induction into the Circle of Champions and an unforgettable experience at WWE World.
This is why I do this. WWE is just all for the kids.
This is what really matters. This right here is what means the absolute most to me.
These moments capture WWE's ongoing promise to leave a lasting impact in every community we touch.
Beautiful day, Dave.
This is one of the things I love about WWE Premium live events, especially WrestleMania, it really is a priority for this company to get out into the community and make a difference in every single city that we go to. And that's no different here in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And Make-A-Wish is such amazing stuff. Of course, the history of Make-A-Wish in this company. And it can't help make you think about that guy who's in the main event tomorrow night as well, who at one point granted more wishes than any other human being in history. It's pretty amazing.
I wonder how many wishes he's granted since he started being mean.
Well, it's a great question. He's been in Europe. He's doing movies. He shows up. He yells at everybody. Fights with Cody Rhodes and promotes WrestleMania tomorrow night. We're going to see what happens with John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Yes, of course, that is the main event tomorrow night. We are now officially an hour away from kicking off WrestleMania Night 1, where the main event will be a triple threat. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. And of course, you got Paul Heyman in the corner of the best in the world. But right now, let's take a look at the journey for Seth Rollins.
March 29th, 2015. Somehow, it's already been a decade. WrestleMania 31. The home of the NFL's San Francisco 49ers. Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California. Like every live West Coast show, the day was a blur. Starting with an early start time in the bright sunshine of the San Francisco Bay Area. Second match on the card featured Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. The Apex Predator gained the victory after one of the most spectacular RKOs of all time. Was it? As the sun set over the Pacific, the main event was set. It was a thrilling title battle. 70,000 strong stood in anticipation of something special, but certainly never expected what would follow. Goosebumps, shock, awe. No one saw it coming. It was a high-risk move that paid off.
Come up. You ready? Don't get ready. Stay ready. That's why I'm here. Who's that? Me. I'm him. You mean Kip? No, me, him. Oh, Kip. Him. Oh, Kip. Oh. I am him. We need stickers. This is my room partner, man. Jake. Couldn't bring him this year. Crazy schedule, bro. Okay. Oh, damn, it's a cake. It's a cake. I really appreciate all this. It's fire. Never had a room this nice before. I had a couple of nice rooms, but this one might be top for sure. It's like fruits of the labor, man. You know, bust my ass to be to the top, or to be the #1 contender for, you know, the World Heavyweight Championship. Man. That's a big one right there. It's about being present most of the time, man. Then, so all this will go away like next week, whatever. This might not, you know, I might, you know, I'm not gonna put it out there, but say it doesn't go my way Saturday, like it's back as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying the ride.
Friday morning, about 8 a.m. Got some more media to do. Last day until go time, dog. Headed to a SmackDown kickoff show tonight. I know we always have all that. It's just good to hear those words. Kind of like coming in your corner, you know, just reassuring you that you're great, what you've done, and that I belong here. Glad you're back with us for WrestleMania 41, night one from here in Vegas. Joe Testor and Stan Roberts with you from that inside Allegiant Stadium. We welcome you in the countdown continues. The excitement builds. We got this beautiful hotel here. They opened the door just moments ago, and you can already tell it's going to get terrible. Look at it, the spectacle that is behind it. I've been all over this building, but I can feel the energy. What do you want energy? You want energy? Let's bring it forward. Walk just a little bit here. Come with me right here. Look, I want to show you this. Look at this concourse here. Look at this right here. Vegas, we're really back to the set. I am not far away from the Raiders playing, as we are getting set for what should be an incredible World Tag Team Clash coming up, Sam. Yes, the War Raiders, the champions who have the belt, against the New Day. This is compelling.
Are you kidding me? It's beyond compelling. We've seen what the New Day has done. They completely changed everything about them. They betrayed their brother, and it's brought them to WrestleMania. The question is all that attitude enough to take out a couple of Vikings like these? The War Raiders care not.
124 days they have held these titles. Meanwhile, their chief rivals, the New Day, Byron Saxton is standing by with them. I'm standing by with the men who will challenge the War Raiders for the World Tag Team titles tonight at WrestleMania. Kingston, David Woods, the New Day gentlemen. I've known you guys for a long time. And I have the utmost respect for everything you've accomplished in this company. But facts are facts. It's been over 4 years since you've held tag team title role on Raw or SmackDown. As a tag team, you've never won a match at WrestleMania. So if you lose tonight, what does that do to the stock of the New Day?
I see. Because you won your NFL Fantasy League for 3 years in a row, you think you're good enough to be a head coach in the NFL. Saxton, no. We are the greatest tag team to ever exist. 12 championship reigns. And we're about to do it one more time. Lucky number 13. We don't lose title matches in Las Vegas, Saxton. We're going to walk out those titles.
How dare you bring all this negative energy and cast it on our aura, man? You have any idea what we do when we come to Las Vegas?
cheap ass suit and your cheap ass questions. Just like everybody else, when we win this match, you can drop down to your knees before us, raise your hands high, and scream out in unison, "Thank God for the new day."
Thanks, guys. I'm going to say, thank God the interview's over. I'm going to send it back to you guys on the panel and let you discuss.
Byron, for what it's worth, I think it looks great.
Byron looks
I think the
fantastic.
suit's amazing.
I feel gaslit by the new day.
First of all, let's talk about the negative energy
Right.
that's spouting off. If anybody has been throwing buckets of negative energy all over both the roster and the WWE universe, it's this group that's been termed the Boo Day because they're being booed so much, Sam.
Yeah, they're being booed nonstop. We all saw them turn on their brother, their best friend Biggie, who might be the most likable superstar that these fans have ever seen. I think that the New Day wants to be accepted on their own terms, but the WWE universe is not accepting those terms.
14 times these teams have met in the ring. War Raiders and the New Day. There is familiarity. Also, the World Tag Team titles have changed hands at the last two WrestleManias. Obviously, last year in Philadelphia, we had a ladder match with both sets of belts hanging up high. When you think about this matchup strategically, how do you size it up?
Look, you got to give credit to the New Day as hard as it is. They are one of the winningest tag teams of all time. They've won championship after championship after championship. But the question that has been brought up to the New Day ever since they turned on Big E has been, now what?
Yes.
They turned on Big E because they said they weren't going to the places that they wanted to go, but they still haven't won a championship since then. The New Day are in a must-win situation, and I don't know how you strategize a must-win situation against two behemoths like the War Raiders.
Yeah, obviously, besides the advantage of the War Raiders, also this version of the War Raiders have been watching since their return from near career-ending injuries. I think, strangely, even though they're at the bottom of their career, it's one of the best versions that we've seen. And the teamwork's incredible.
Unbelievable, and I think the War Raiders want to take that autumn of their career thought out of everyone's head. They have every reason in the world to go, no, tonight's not the night for the New Day to get the spotlight they've been desperate for since they turned on Big E. Tonight, the War Raiders want to make WrestleMania about the War Raiders.
And as much as we talk about where they are in the stages of career, keep this in mind for the New Day. They have not held tag team gold since April of 2021. And as a unit, Sam, now we had Kofi Mania way back when, but as a unit, they're 0-5 at WrestleMania.
Wow. I mean, look, I think that WrestleMania becomes big enough to scare some people off sometimes. I mean, the getting under those lights changes everything. However, the New Day, Kofi and Woods, are more together than they ever have been right now. That's because everybody else is against them. If we thought there was this semblance of unity between the New Day and the past, I think that when the whole world, at least from their perspective, turns against you, that you have to go to the person that's on your side. Right now, it's Xavier and it's Kofi against the world. And that may make them an even stronger duo.
All right, let's transition to the United States Championship match that will be coming up later tonight. It is LA Knight. Yeah. Welcome to the match. Against Jacob Fatu. 8 days ago, Wayfair and I were in Seattle. Jacob Fatu had a vicious attack of LA Knight. He actually picked up the championship and held it in his hand. Last night, we saw what happened when LA Knight arrived at the T-Mobile Arena, and he came out and had a vicious attack on Tamatanga. He pointed to Solo Sikoa. Then in the midst of that match, again, the Samoan werewolf. This thing has been boiling up and over.
Well, yeah, because I think LA Knight doesn't want everybody to sit there and go, how do you beat a Samoan werewolf? How do you beat someone that has no conscience? How do you beat somebody that lives to destroy it? I think LA Knight's trying to prove to everybody, Jacob Fatu included, that he is coming to WrestleMania to destroy on the same level. However, trying to destroy on the level that Jacob Fatu destroys on is a fool's mission.
You know, it's interesting. Earlier today, we started talking about 2 hours ago when we started the show. We started talking about this match. And just as I was talking to Jack and Redmond,
seems like it's been 10 years with how many storylines he's been involved with how many big moments he's been involved with how many jaw-dropping attacks he's been involved with. Hasn't been a full year. Here he is fighting for a championship at WrestleMania.
And the fact that every time somebody wins a championship, the fact that every time we sort of wildly speculate about where a rivalry could go, his name comes up. And every time it comes up, it's at the tippity top of the card. People instantly see this Jacob Fatu as a threat to everybody that's on the roster, LA Knight included. Now look, there's no doubt. We see LA Knight t-shirts right in front of us.
I mean, everywhere you look.
People bought a ticket to WrestleMania 41 so they can cheer LA Knight. But Joe Tess, in your experience, not just broadcasting, but as a wrestling fan, have you ever seen somebody with capabilities to be a greater spoiler than Jacob Fatu?
No, and it's really the total package when you think about it. It's not just, listen, it's the look in the eyes. It's the fearlessness. It's the intensity. But for a man of his size, to be so dynamic, to be so explosive, and to have a relentless high motor, he never stops. But I said it to you earlier. I don't know. Listen, when I'm broadcasting World Championship boxing here in Las Vegas, we will often use the phrase punch resistance. Totality of resistance, the ability to bounce back. There is nobody who has a higher resistance than Jacob Fatu.
That's the scary part. It's not even the offense. When the offense comes in, it's like, wow. But he will take every single hit that every superstar is taking and fall down, and somehow he'll get back up. And that is bad news when you're defending a championship. It may be bad news for the WWE. We talked about this earlier, but the more you think about it, the more you realize that winning a championship at WrestleMania puts you on the front page. You are a representative of the WWE. And now this person, who you have to think twice before you bring in public, could become the representative of the WWE by wearing the United States Championship.
Now, there is one X factor, I think, here, and that is experience. Yes, the Mad Dog has been set loose off the leash of Solo Sikoa to go on his own and hunt. However, this is his WrestleMania debut. There are moments when sometimes you have to realize how big the stage is. How does that factor into the United States Championship today for Fatu and the lack of experience on this stage?
It means everything. You know, LA Knight waited his whole life to get to stages this big, and he shines brightly on stages this big. But the fact of the matter is that Jacob Fatu seems to ignore everything else around him. When Jacob Fatu thinks that it's time to dog walk somebody, it's time to dog walk them. You know what I mean?
You know it, my man. That is coming your way tonight. The United States Championship match between LA Knight looking to defend against Jacob Fatu. Want to give you a sneak peek at Sinner, new genre-based Bentley thriller from Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther and Grief, starring Michael B. Jordan now in theaters and IMAX.
One of the biggest stars in this entire industry. I just need to come through.
minutes away from getting things kicked off. Peter Rosenberg, Biggie, Jackie Redmond with you as we continue to talk about all things WrestleMania. And guys, I did want to ask you about the main event, but I am getting word that apparently something has happened backstage moments ago. Our camera crew was there earlier today. Let's take a look.
I don't suppose you have any idea.
No, we just want to clear that. We just want it.
You know what? I almost want to believe you. But I believe you know something about this. So come clean now.
No, we don't. All we know is that it looks like Bailey's not going to be able to compete tomorrow. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. And it's not funny, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what is funny is that Raquel and I are totally cool with having a 4-win victory for us. That's a great
Are you
idea.
serious right now?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not going to be that easy. There will be a match tomorrow, so I suggest you get your mind
Oh,
right.
yeah? What's it going to be? Us versus Lyra 2-on-1? Real smart. Real smart. Come on, let's go. Bye.
Listen,
I want both of them.
look, I know that, I feel that, I understand that, and I want a championship match at WrestleMania, but you're not doing it alone. Look, Lyra, look, bottom line here. So you got about 24 hours to find a new partner. 24 hours, okay? 24 hours.
Este tipo ni siquiera está cerca de la superficie de la piscina y no creerás lo profunda que es hasta que veas que a pesar de nadar hacia arriba durante unos segundos, no logra ascender y sigue en las partes más profundas de la piscina hasta que descubre que hay un siguiente piso, así que se impulsa con sus brazos para desplazarse por el lugar. Puede que te preguntes por qué hay una ciudad emblemática egipcia sumergida en el agua. La respuesta para ello es que no tiene ningún ayudar que sea que no cuenta con el
Well, guys, as you well know, every one of the stars who comes down this ramp across the next couple of nights of WrestleMania has followed their own path and created their own journey to get here. The same is true of the more than 120,000 fans that are going to fill the seats in this stadium across these two nights. This is the story of one of those fans who experiences the magic and spectacle of WWE in a way that's different from most of us. Why do we watch? Who do we cheer? What do we feel and see and hear?
Yo no las tu papá se filtro. Oye, que viene esas perras.
Jeffrey Head, a mechanic in Columbus, Ohio, known as Geo, doesn't hear the world, not the way most of us do.
I was born deaf, but my parents didn't find out that I was deaf until maybe 1 or 2 years old. I'm the only one in my family that's deaf. Growing up, I learned how to sign. My parents, that was the only way they communicated with me was through sign.
As a young boy growing up in Ohio, Geo received a cochlear implant, a surgically implanted device meant to improve his hearing. I was very excited to think that someday that cochlear implant was going to help him hear all the things that you and I hear on a daily basis.
love the cochlear implant at the beginning, but then as time went on, I ended up hating it. I hated it because it hurt my head. It caused me a lot of headaches, so I decided to stop using it, and that was around the age of 13. I prefer to stay deaf.
Anyone would ask Gio why?
Because I was born deaf, and that's what I just prefer to stay.
Through sound and silence, one thing that's always reached Gio is professional wrestling.
What are you gonna do for Wrestlemania?
Around 7 or 8 is when I first saw Hulk Hogan. I like his acting. You know, he's got the big open shirt, doing these movements. I love his act. That's kind of what made me become fascinated with wrestling. And then I ended up watching a lot of WWE, especially at a young age.
I would see him watch on TV and talk about it a little bit, and talk about the Hulk Hogan's and the Macho Man Randy Savages, and like, God, you know, when you're deaf and you can't hear, you know, you're probably relying on action.
As a child, those WWE stars and stories were an escape for Gio. But as an adult, life's challenges would reach far beyond the ring or the garage and past his lack of hearing.
I am an alcoholic and an addict. I used to have 4 years of sobriety. My mom passed away 3 years ago. 3 years actually today. The 2 of us were best friends. After that, everything fell apart. I ended up relapsing after she died, and I really struggled with alcohol.
The first, 6 months, 12 months were devastating for all of us, right? But he's definitely taken it hard. It has highs and has lows.
This month, on April 11th, Gio celebrated 1 year of sobriety, one day at a time. And this month, he's returning to one of the passions that's been there for him through every challenge. For the first time, he's going to a WWE event, live, in person.
I've always wanted to go. It'll be exciting. Feeling the vibrations of the auditorium. Feel the people yelling. I can imagine that. I want to have that experience to see what wrestling is like.
Welcome to Vegas. Thanks to all over the world at the 7 on Sin City. And oh, what a show they are ready for.
As Gio arrived at Friday Night SmackDown, there was only one star sending his greetings.
What's up, Gio? Yeah, Hulk Hogan here, brother. I want to thank you, Gio, for being a Hulkamaniac, for sticking with me through thick and thin. I've only got one question for you, Gio. What you gonna do, brother, when Hulk Hogan and Gio tag team and run wild on you?
I wasn't expecting that. I didn't really know what to say. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience to see it live.
When CM Punk came back to the ring, it wasn't a WWE ring.
Vibrations, people are screaming and yelling. I can feel that. Everybody can feel vibrations. But because I'm deaf, I feel it more.
What a privilege and joy it is to be joined right now by Gio Head, his wife Tammy, Gio's interpreter Stephanie Reed. Gio, we saw your reactions last night
to your very first event. What do you expect over these next 2 nights at WrestleMania?
Really, I mean, for the past 2 days, it's been really amazing. Just really great. I mean, it's been a very, very enriching experience because, you know, growing up, I just watched this on TV. I never got to go to a live in-person event, but now I'm here and I'm watching this, truly watching this live. I can feel the vibrations and the sounds. It's been just really great experience. Thank you so much.
Give us a prediction for what everyone's pointing toward. Will we see Rhodes or Cena prevail?
Oh, I think Cena's gonna win.
Why?
I think that I think he deserves to win.
We are so grateful to you for sharing your story with us, Gio, and we hope you have an amazing time tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll enjoy myself. Thank you.
We know, guys, all the stars have their stories, but again, what a joy to be able to share the story of this one fan. Gio Heck, joined here by Tammy, and again, our special thanks to Stephanie Reed, who was remarkable through this whole process. Guys?
Tom, thank you so much. An incredible story. I'm sure Gio is about to have an absolute blast here at WrestleMania. We are now officially less than 30 minutes away from kicking off night 1, and who better to join us to talk all things WWE and WrestleMania than Stephanie McMahon herself. That is right. Fans, very excited to see you up here. You look amazing as always, and you have about I gotta let the champ breathe.
The fans didn't always treat you that way.
No, I very rarely have my name chanted. It's usually very loud boos. It's just I haven't been around in a while.
Well, it's a lot of cheers, nothing but cheers out here inside the Legion Stadium. You have so much going on. I guess I'll start with coming off of the WWE Hall of Fame last night and watching your husband Paul get inducted. How was that night for you?
Oh my God, yes. The Triple H chant, very well deserved. You know, it's something that I don't take very lightly. The relationship that he has with all of these people goes way back and way further than it does even with his relationship with me. And to have the opportunity to celebrate 30 years of blood, sweat, and tears, starting as a little kid being a fan in Nashua, New Hampshire, to being the person responsible for all of this. I mean, it's just, what a remarkable journey. What a remarkable human being. Just his huge heart is what I fell in love with first, and then he has, you know, everything else to back it up.
We'll let that one lie.
He's been all on the last couple of days. I'll tell you what.
So I was just telling you before we talked off screen, it seems like every week there's a new announcement for projects that you have coming out. How's it been transitioning into the space?
It's been amazing. It really has. And, you know, Stephanie's place is thank you, I love you too. You know, it was funny because I wasn't sure I was ready to really do something. And, you know, it was Nick Khan and Paul were trying to pressure me into doing it a little bit. And then I was leaning towards it, and all of a sudden I see a text on my phone, and it comes up Peyton Manning. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Peyton Manning's texting me to do this show. I guess I need to do it. It was so cool. It was so cool. I called Nick immediately. I'm like, you have Peyton Manning text me? Like, of course. Okay, I'm going to do this. And it's been so rewarding to have the opportunity to be with our talent, you know, and to really just hear their stories and who they are and where they came from and how they overcame different kinds of adversities. And you know, hopefully it's entertaining and there's some type of takeaways for the audience, but it's been a true blessing for me.
I think you've been doing a fantastic job. I've been watching since the first episode. It's not easy to jump into a new space. But me and my wife have really enjoyed it and watching it. It's great bedtime. Sit back. Why? Okay, not real quick. Real quick. When you take a look at behind us, like this sort of gives Pontiac Silverdome 1987 a little bit. You've been to so many of these. It's such a part of your life. When you think WrestleMania, what is the first memory Stephanie McMahon has?
Oh, well, my very first memory is WrestleMania 1, you know, and sitting in the crowd and gosh, I mean, I remember all of the matches sitting there, and I remember watching my dad and Hulk Hogan before the show started, you know, talking about what was going to be happening and just walking around backstage and the energy. I didn't understand at the time everything that was riding on WrestleMania 1. My parents mortgaged everything that they owned to make it happen. I didn't realize if it wasn't successful, my life would change dramatically, but luckily it was. And that connection to our fans is something that has only grown with every WrestleMania. And here we are again today, and it's just amazing.
It's such an incredible collection of people all in one place, right? And it really it feels so interconnected, like we're all just kind of one big family.
But it's
sort of
true.
taking this in. I have to ask you what match you're looking forward to tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe on the weekend?
I never get into the matches because I'm not going to pick anybody.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's
Although Jey Uso, maybe I do have to be.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
He's one with the people. I love that.
I had the opportunity this morning because you had asked about multiple projects, and I did a live podcast because now I'm also doing a podcast. The video is on YouTube, and then you can listen to the audio on Spotify and Apple and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. But I talked about our fans and how our fans, especially now with all of the programming that we have available, they can be with our talent from their journey from the very, very beginning, you know, all the way through to the main event at WrestleMania, and how connected you are, you know, to someone who's been with you that far along the way and someone who's helped you get here. It's just really remarkable, and I think it's such a special relationship, and I'm so grateful to all of our fans. It's just amazing.
I think one thing that is never stated enough, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I go to a lot of events. I work in sports. I work in music. I work here. These are the best crowds in anything I do. There is less drama. There is less problems. It is positive energy. It's just, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. We have the best fans, and you feel it all.
Yes, we do.
Diverse.
Best fans in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I have this quick story time. I have this vivid memory. I don't know if you remember, about 12 years ago when Caitlyn was doing the Secret Admirer storyline. And I remember I was supposed to go out there and seduce her. I remember you walking me through, you seducing Caitlyn and just giving me the directions. You were so instrumental, I think, in so many people's careers and helping them, giving them tidbits. Is that an element of your career that you miss, being more involved, hands-on backstage?
You know, I love the opportunity to work with our talent in any capacity. And if I can be helpful, if I can give tips, you know, whatever that is, I'm happy to do it. I'm here for everybody's success. And how did I do, by the way?
You did an amazing job. Yeah, stellar job. In fact, I think you have a tutorial on how to do. That's another.
Here we go again.
We're going to have more cool ideas on the countdown to WrestleMania, but we are 21 minutes away from WrestleMania. We're here with Stephanie McMahon. We talked about the podcast. We talked about Stephanie's places. I mean, at this point, sort of, what is your hope for the podcast? You know, I know you
I have no idea. Honestly, yes, we kicked off with Dana White, and then this morning we did live with Michael Rubin, who's the CEO of Fanatics and responsible for the world and all of the incredible partnerships that we have, you know, primarily in licensing and memorabilia and now podcasting and who knows what's to come next. But the podcast was really based on the show, on Stephanie's Places. So I had such an amazing time. I think every person, you know, struggles along the way, right? Because life's not easy for anybody. Everyone has it different. But, you know, what are the lessons that you can learn? What is your story? I mean, that's exactly how the name came about. You know, what tidbits do you have for other people that can help get them through? You know, that's the goal. And whether it's musicians or it's, you know, WWE superstars or it's athletes or entertainers or business people, you name it, you know, we're going to try to hear their story.
And that is how people connect, right? Like when you can get someone to open up and be vulnerable and sort of share the harder things, I think that's where the connection comes, right?
That's right. And we all have more in common than we realize, you know. And at the end of the day, it's all about family and love and the people that get you there.
Does any part of you miss being in the ring? Physical. It's not that long. We're not that far removed from you being in there.
I used to love to take bumps. It's my favorite thing in the world to take bumps. until I wrestled Ronda Rousey. And I think I took enough bumps, you know, in the whole preparation for that match. And I've been a little, you know,
They say,
hesitant maybe since.
they say wrestlers have a certain amount of bumps on their body.
That's it. Correct.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for chatting with us. We appreciate the time. She is truly, you guys don't understand, she is the absolute best human. Always so warm, always so gracious with your time. Thank you so much. Enjoy WrestleMania, and congrats on all of the things. We have time, but not enough time to list them all. Congratulations. Stephanie McMahon, give it up for her one more time. All right, that's it. WrestleMania is brought to you in part by Papa John's. Order pizza and more for delivery tonight.
Nobody defined best for business more than John Cena. John, I know you're watching. I know that you think that your successor had to look like you, had to talk like you, had to be like you, had to live like you. Well, the next one doesn't look like the last one, John, and you are convinced that you are the last of your kind. You are not.
Kmart jersey sign. Very, very cool. All right, let's get back to the card. We have the countdown really is on now. 12 minutes away from this thing. I want to talk to you guys about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton because we haven't talked about this match with any of us just yet. Tiffany is defending against an already active legend in WWE, right? What have you made of how personal this has got and sort of the guts that Tiffany has shown in the presence of honestly greatness?
No, there's been a lot of talk about the tension, about the promos, but I think, honestly, we have kind of lost what's going to happen in Square Circle. You know, and I think this could be potentially a passing the torch moment. Charlotte Flair has done it all here in WWE, main event after main event. You know, but I sat with her at Daddy's Live, and she talked about being nervous for this. And at one time, she's here at WWE, and the very top of the card, she still has nerves. And look, I torn ACL before in college, and oftentimes the physical hurdle is not the biggest hurdle, it's the mental hurdle. Can I trust my body to do the things that it has in the past? And I want to see Charlotte Flair is the same Charlotte we've seen before. I know physically she's ready, but mentally, if she wants to trust that her knee is good, that her body is fine, and she can win a 15th world championship.
That's the thing with these really personal matches is being able to sort of delineate the two different things. You, number one, have the fact that you absolutely hate this person, who on international television on SmackDown got very, very personal, and you also have the fact that you're trying to win gold. You know what I mean? And those things, you don't want the personal part to get in the way of the business that you're trying to handle.
But you know what? I think the personal side of this has turned into a bit of a power for Tiffany. Because, you know, she sat down with Wade Barrett, she's done a lot of interviews. I talked to her a couple of weeks ago, and she told me that she really, for the first time in her career, feels like she is at war. Like she is going to war with somebody. She feels like Charlotte has taken advantage of her. She feels like Charlotte has bullied her. And she said she has to look herself in the mirror, take that, and say, how can I use this to my advantage? And I think we've seen it become a bit of a strength for her. And, you know, she's kind of talked about being last night at the Red Carpet, how this is still a dream match for her. Charlotte is someone that she looked up to. So to be able to deal with all of that and then still call it a dream match, I think shows the mindset that Tiffany has.
She said one of the things, I'm curious your thoughts on this. She also acknowledged in that conversation, I'm nervous. And I wonder, is it bad to admit any sort of weakness like that the night before the title defense of WrestleMania?
I think this version of Charlotte is very open, she's very transparent. She's had a lot of things go on in her personal life, things that probably shouldn't have been said on screen, but these things have been mentioned, and I think she's at a point in her life where she's really reflecting, and I don't think that's weakness. I think
apologies. Tiffany admitted that.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Charlotte seemed very okay. Tiffany said, I'm nervous.
That's my bad. Yeah, look, I don't blame her for being nervous at this stage. This is WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair.
WrestleMania debut title defense.
Right, and Charlotte is not the type to hold your hand and bring you along. It is sink or swim with Charlotte Flair, and you better be ready.
But in a lot of ways, Tiffany has everything to gain in this situation, right? If she can come out
She has something to lose. There's a lot to lose.
She has a title to lose.
Right.
She has a title to lose.
And look, we've seen Bianca, we've seen Rhea, we've seen Charlotte, we've seen Becky and Bayley at WrestleMania. The bar for women's wrestling is so high, Tiffany has to meet that bar. So I think there really is a lot on the line for Tiffany today, not just the title.
I think it's a lot of upside for Tiffany.
No, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because she's up against the iconic Charlotte Flair, someone that has done this time after time after time after time. If Tiffany comes up short, yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but it's okay. It's your WrestleMania debut. You've been on the main roster for 1 year.
Well, that's
you lost to one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. You're going to get some grace for that. But if you come out on top, oh my God, you're walking with your chest out.
It's a great point. The time from debut on the main roster to WrestleMania, like I don't think I've ever looked back. This is faster than Becky or Sasha or any of the other people who came before me. This is really quick. So that is a good point. But at the same time, you know she's desperate to hold on to that gold. And she has said things you cannot take back. She needs to prove herself tonight. And I'll tell you, Charlotte pulled me aside after our conversation. She's ready to put the beats on that. I believe it.
I think they both are. This is going to be, I think, a very physical match between those two. All right, Elsewhere, let's get to the break
really excited for Ray Phoenix, man. See, I got a chance to talk to his brother, Pensa, after that is live, and he has talked about how much being at this point, at this stage, means so much to him. I can imagine it's the very same thing for Ray Phoenix to get to WWE, to be presented the way he has. But it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania, man. And he has an opportunity to, to really show something to the world tonight.
Craziest thing I heard today, I saw Ray in the locker room, and he's gutted. And he said he saw Dominic. He said, Dominic, I guess you will be the only Mysterio to shine at WrestleMania this year. You know what Dominic's response was? That was already going to be the case.
That was already going to be the case. Listen, a lot of WrestleMania debuts happening here this weekend in Las Vegas, and a heck of a card to kick things off here tonight in just over 6 minutes. My goodness, we are getting closer and closer to night one of WrestleMania 41, officially kicking off. With that, we are in Sin City, we are in Las Vegas, and with that, let's throw it over to Dana White with City of Dreamers.
Ever since I was a Jew, I really
The neon pulse, the dazzling avenue, the glittering hub and heart of the city. But the Las Vegas Strip is not Las Vegas, technically. It actually lies in the unincorporated Nevada town called Paradise. It's the place that drew me and so many more like me to the middle of the Mojave Desert. Surrounded by that darkness, the brilliant lights of the Strip are visible all the way into outer space, lighting the way for more than 40 million people that come here each year, each carrying their own dream.
Oh my God, it's Wayne Newton.
Because Vegas is always called out to the dreamers.
Hey, there you are. I'm going to Vegas. My Vegas. You're going to get my midnight money. We're going to be up my money by midnight.
It's a city that beckons to the bold and that calls out the believers of what's possible. That's what Vegas does and what it's always done. It requires you to have more nerve than the next guy. To accept that risk is part of living. It's why Vegas is the city of Sinatra, Elvis, and Tyson. Of 1 hour engagements and all-night runs. It's where the running rebels and the Raiders are. It's home to my UFC, to the biggest fights, the largest games, and the greatest stories. And it's why it feels so